Hello, dear students. Welcome to the Bajirao IS Academy. Today is 28th December, and we are going to discuss the Daily Hindu newspaper analysis. So, in today's session, we are going to cover three important editorial. The first editorial is related to the civilian death in the militant operation. So, here we will be discussing about background of the incident that occurred on 21st of December, and after that there was rising concern about fake encounter in the army and how it can be a boost up for the militant. So we are going to understand it. And afterward, we will be shifting to the second editorial where we will be discussing about happiness and economic growth. So it is related to the context of Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra that is ongoing at the national level. And further, we will be on the last topic, that is making health a top priority. And this is related to the increase in non-communicable disease like heart attack among the youth, and apart from that, the diabetes cases, the cancer cases which is rising in India, and we can relate with because of the lifestyle orders we are facing and the food habits we are inculcating in our habit culture. Okay, so let's start with our session. And before that, if you hadn't subscribed our channel, please do share, subscribe, and also spread to your friend circle. So coming to the first article, you can relate with GS paper 2. So when we talk about Jammu and Kashmir, you know that the Jammu and Kashmir do face the terrorism related issue, the militancy attack, the insurgency. Okay, and that's why there is huge deployment of army. But recently, on 21st December, there was again a militant attack on the army convoy that killed four soldiers at Dera Ki Gali in Punch. Punch is a district. And to understand this with a better clarity, let's jump to the map. First of all, this is the map of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, and these both are UT currently. And try to understand this green colored area. This is Pakistan occupied Kashmir. This is integral part of India, but now it's under control of Pakistan. So that is one thing. Okay. So here, this is line of control. That means here the Indian army operates. Okay, and they deal with the terrorist issue, fights with the insurgency, and many more things. So this is the basic clarity over the map. Now try to understand this location because this location is very important. This is Punch. Okay, where the recent militant attack was carried on the army convoy. So look at the location where it is located. It's just like attached to the Pakistan occupied Kashmir. That means there is high chance that in this region the militant attack, insurgency, terrorist related events have the high potential to have its presence because it can be funded, it can be like aided by Pakistani groups, the terrorist group. So that is the thing, and hence you may see that this region, or we can say like this region, they have the higher chances of this type of incident. Okay, and apart from that, there is geographical difficulty terrain like cold climate, and apart from that, like the vegetation. Okay, so these influence, and that's why tackling the terrorism or the militancy here becomes a very bigger challenge. So I make you understand about some important thing so that you should have a clarity. And apart from that, you should always look the map with a broader angle. Like here, it's Aksai Chin, and maybe you are knowing about it. Tell me. And apart from that, this is Jammu and Kashmir, and this region is your Ladakh. Okay, Ladakh UT. So I have make you understand this. So now coming to the incident, like this militant attack, after the militant attack on the army convoy, so the army retaliated, and the army captured some civilians for questioning. But what has been observed, that the dead body of these three civilians were lying on the region where the anti-militancy operation was carried on. So there was a higher chances of alleged torture by the army, and this sparked controversy. This sparked debate. Okay, and hence there is the issue going on. So we can say here, like, the fake encounter or these type of killing of the civilians is not good or not right, because we should have a attack on militants. Why we are targeting the civilians? Okay, and hence there is inquiry committee being set up, and apart from that, even the like defense minister Rajnath Singh also visited this region, and also there is certain suggestion, but this type of incident raises two important issue, like if this type of civilian that occur, first of all, the unpopularity of the government which is operating in Jammu and Kashmir, specifically it is under the control of the central government because of the UT, so it can increase the unpopularity of the regime. Okay, and apart from that, this will fulfill the aims of the militants, what the militant wants. Like, they do asymmetric warfare, and in asymmetric warfare, what happens, like, they, yeah, these militants play with the emotions of the people. Like, they will be influencing the security forces to commit a right violation. Like, this civilian death looks to be a right violation because civilians is being killed here, and the feelings, the emotions that will be generated because of these grievances, this can be utilized by these militants to gain their support base. Okay, so this will decrease the trust of the people in the army. Okay, so that is one thing we need to understand. And second, the legitimacy of the force or the army will also have to face crisis, and if we use the force, okay, so that should depend on the justness of the action. That is, whatever action we are doing, it should be just, so that we can create trust among the people that the army or the forces which is here, it's because to protect you, to protect the citizen, to protect the people, not to, like, affecting the rights of the people. Okay, so this incident highlights the incident of fake encounter, which has resulted in a spurt of increased militancy besides public outrage. And here, the defense minister also visited. But one important statement said by the defense minister, like, the army should take actions based on hard intelligence. Hard intelligence means, like, the intelligence should be proper. Okay, should be more rational, should more be scientific, so that we can take the action. Otherwise, there can be the chances of civilian killing, and even one civilian gets killed, so this is like, we are not doing justice to the people of the Jammu and Kashmir, okay, to the citizen of India. So that is one thing we should note. So this is the case. Hope you understood. And now we are shifting to the second article, and you can relate with GS paper 3. So first of all, when we talk about this article, tell me, what do you mean by happiness? Although it seems to be like subjective answer, but you should try to give it. And also you can relate with GS paper 4 as well. It can be with your ethics topic. Okay, so when we talk about happiness, like, it's like emotion to express your positive vibes, and it can be like from external, and it can be internally. And many people in the world treat happiness as an external phenomena, like you buy something, you like earn something, so this will give you happiness. And the Mahaguru or various important personality in the past, okay, like when we talk about Swami Vivekanand, and apart from that, many Mahapurus were there. So they talked about happiness as an internal bliss. Okay, so that is the basic thing you should understand. Like there is different perspective of happiness, but here I am not going into the detail of happiness, but I am talking to one point. Like in today's scenario, we are focusing much more on GDP growth, economic growth. Okay, and here we are launching about Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra. And do you know about Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra? It's like taking campaign across the country, and it aims to ensure that the government services or the schemes or the concerns of the people should be addressed. And one important aim is to make India a developed nation by 2047. But the important thing to understand, like we have a target to make India a developed nation by 2047, that's a good. But based on which parameter? Based on economic ground, based on GDP, okay, based on economic growth. But do economic growth or focusing on economic growth is enough? Or it can, in simple word, it can bring happiness to each and every people? No, it is not sure. Why? Because happiness will come if there is a development. And development is not only based on the economic growth, development is based on the people getting their rights, people getting their health benefits, people getting the empowerment, people getting education, people getting literacy, people becoming creative, productive, many more dimension. Okay, just like you see multi-dimensional poverty index. Accordingly, the happiness have different dimension, the development has different dimension. Okay, so we should not always focus about conventional model of development, but here in this Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra, the focus is on making India a developed nation by 2047. Okay, but in this campaign, there is less focus on the development. There is less focus on ensuring happiness to each and every people. Okay, so that is the thing. So overemphasis on the economic development in Viksit Bharat, that is the important concern which has been highlighted. And here there's an important suggestion in this article, like instead of focusing on Viksit Bharat Sankalp, try to make this theme as Happy India, Developed India. That is Khushhal Bharat, Viksit Bharat. So here we are like at the same time trying to make India a developed nation, and apart from that, we are trying to ensure that India should be khushhal, India should be happy. Okay, and happiness is a central pursuit, and development without happiness is meaningless. And can you agree with my point that development without happiness is meaningless? If yes, how? Tell me in the chat box. Okay, and even let's say India become a developed nation, but there is low happiness. People are like facing disease, people are facing the crisis of the food quality life. So despite we will be having wealth, but if we will not be having the well-being. And one important thing I am trying to convey you, like we measure the economic growth or developed versus developing based on the GDP. But GDP has its own issue. Like GDP does not measures inequality. And in India, we have the gender inequality, we have the income inequality. Okay. And many people are living in poverty. So how we can totally rely on the economic growth or the GDP parameter for the development, for the happiness. Okay. So that's why we need to focus on like improving the happiness parameter. And itself, India is lacking in the World Happiness Index. Okay, and here we need to have an improvement. So that is the thing. Like we have to focus on GDP. So that is one thing, because without money, no improvement will be there. And apart from that, we need to focus on health, generosity, social support base. We need to increase freedom of expression should be there. Removal of corruption should be the utmost priority. Okay. And apart from that, in the happiness report 2023, there was emphasis on trust and benevolence. So if you have the trust with the people, trust with the society, trust with the nation, so definitely you are going to enhance your potential. You will be working for the development of the people, for the society. So trust and benevolence is very, very important. And tell me the difference and similarity between trust and benevolence. It is very important for your ethics GS paper 4. Okay. And when we talk about other things that lead to happiness, like social engagement, relationships, okay, and that's why when we observe the country which is very much high in happiness rank, like Finland, Denmark, Iceland, Netherlands, so they have the social harmony. People communicate with each other, people share their emotions, people have the trust. And there is an important term for the trust, that is the social capital. Social capital represents like whatever the society and the people comprise, they have the trust with one another. And if there is a trust, that means there is increased potential to work betterment, to work for the betterment of the people, for the betterment of the society. Okay, there will be no different buts, there will be always progress here if there is a social capital. And India, we do have lack in social capital, because we sometimes feel anxious towards the success of the other people. Okay, so we need to be like broad minded. We need to think broader with respect to the interest of the society, with respect to the people. So India's path, which need to ensure social harmony. Okay, and current economic model is disruptive to social order in India, and it leads to disorder, crime, imbalance. And apart from that, quality of life is also very concerning issue in India. Like in the informal sectors, we have the workers working, okay, and their quality of life is very bad despite their earning income. Apart from the income is also less, but quality of life is also less. So we need to move beyond GDP, and for that, certain indicators we need to have a parameter to judge upon our happiness, like human development index. Okay, we have already discussed about it, and this is very important. Try to remember who releases these index. Okay, and apart from social development index, that measures the social development, like in the society, whether development is penetrating or not, in terms of health, in terms of education, in terms of independence, in terms of like brotherhood. And apart from that, we have the green index and the international human suffering index, that measures different aspects of suffering. So there should be a holistic vision for Viksit Bharat to make India develop by 2047. And here, the happiness part should not be ignored. And we need to make India top in terms of global innovation index. We need to have a better rule of law index and poverty index. So in these index, we need to perform better. And if we are able to eliminate gender discrimination, we are able to have a good press freedom, rule of law implementation. So definitely these are going to make India a happiness nation, and this will be like visible in terms of the emotions and the behavior of the people. Okay, so that is the end of the second article. Now we are shifting to the last article, that is related to GS paper 2. So when we talk about the present context, you know that the food culture, food habit is changing. Whatever the food habit of your parents is, maybe the food habit of yours is not that. So what we are seeing, with change in time, the food habit is also being changed. And now from the slow food, we are coming to the fast food. Slow food gives you nutrition, gives you strength, and also improves your health. But these fast food, do not improves your health but degrades your health. And due to this, there is rising incident of the non-communicable disease in India, whether it is heart attack, and even don't like dream like heart attack is the issue of the old age people. No, nowadays we are seeing many incidents that people in the younger age they are facing the heart attack related issue. So we need to be cautious here. Okay, and the non-communicable disease burden is also increasing in India, and we have important data. But to understand this, we need to understand what do we mean by non-communicable disease. Okay, so when we talk about non-communicable disease, these are also known as chronic disease. And chronic means long term. It can go with the life as well. Okay. And it is a result of genetic issue, the physiological issue, the environmental and behavioral factor. In the behavioral factor, definitely your lifestyle. Like if you are having the sedentary lifestyle, that means just doing nothing, no physical activity, just eating and sleeping. So this is sedentary lifestyle, and this is very very harmful for today's generation. Okay, so this is one thing, and apart from that, there is a genetic issue. Like when we talk about the diabetes, so diabetes can spread because of the genetical issue. Okay, and we have the example like the cardiovascular disease related to lungs. Okay, diabetes, the chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, and cancer. So these are the things. And how this non-communicable disease to occurs. So we have many factors like physical inactivity, obesity, raised cholesterol, decreased vegetable and fruit intake. So this is okay. Here this is slow food because you have to like prepare it, and here the nutrition gets delivered to your body. Okay, but nowadays we are dependent on the fast food, so that is like damaging our health. So these are the factors. So like unhealthy diet, lack of physical activity, tobacco, your alcohol use. So this can be the factor related to cancer as well. And sedentary lifestyle we have already seen. So what will be its impact? The impact is like India is now becoming the diabetes capital of the world. About 10 crore of peoples are facing diabetes in India. And in terms of cardiovascular disease like heart attack, okay, India is in the top chart. Many people get killed due to the heart attack, due to the cardiovascular disease, and even what when we talk about cancer. So earlier it used to be a rare disease in India because its prevalence was not such high. But nowadays, the cancer incident is also increasing, and it is projected that by 2040, there can be a rise by 57.5%. And all this increases the economic burden on the nation, economic burden on the society, economic burden on the people, specifically the marginalized, the poor people. Okay, and you can quote this data like 4.58 trillion dollar it cost to India due to the non-communicable disease and mental health condition, and this has been the data taken from World Economic Forum estimate. Okay, so that is the crisis we are facing, and as the time is passing, we are not recognizing the concern. We are just we are too integrated into these sedentary lifestyle, like we do not have much more effect. Okay, so there is a need to have a resolution that we should protect our health, because if you are in power, if you have the maturity to understand that your health is a priority not only for your family but for the society but for the nation, so definitely you will be starting to take good step. And apart from that, the government had taken many initiatives like national program for non-communicable disease TB elimination program 75/25 initiative. Tell me about this initiative, what is for. Okay, but the main thing is that government have limited penetration to prevent the disease spread. We say no, like prevention is better than cure. So the prevention policy is to be done by the individual, to be done by you and me. And for that, individual must take charge, break the cycle of broken resolution, and in 2024 take a resolution that we will be applying some micro habits for the macro change. Micro habits for macro change, like walking. You should set target for 30 minutes walking daily. It will like reduce your cardiovascular related incident. And there should be mindful eating, like choose slow food over fast food. Then there should be preventive care like regular health checkup, and this should be in the proactive approach. And then there is open communication, like whenever you eat with the family, with the person, with the people in the hotels, restaurants, so you can discuss about the health related incident, health related empowerment, health related information, so that sharing of the information will be more beneficial rather discussing about some less important topics. Okay, so this will cultivate the awareness related to health in the youth, in the people, in you. So if you want to win the war against the non-communicable disease, so it is not just for the government, it is also for you to participate, and this will be for individual well-being. And if you are well, then definitely the nation is going to be well. Okay, so the power to transform the nation lies in the daily choice of its citizen, and this can be the essay question as well. And apart from that, you can write in the health related topics if any question comes. So the power to transform the nation lies in the daily choice of its citizens. Suppose you are choosing fast food on the daily basis, so it will lead to the disease. Okay, and it will increase the burden on the nation, the economic burden, the social burden, the financial, and many more burden. Okay, so that is the thing. That's why this is very important and powerful quote you should mention. And now we are ending with the session, and for that you have the last question for the prelims. Pause the video, try to solve it. Okay, and give the answer in the chat box. So friends, thank you, hope you understood. We'll meet again with the next sort of discussion. Thank you.